I analyzed 1000 best performing thumbnails and the results surprised me because the best ones use a psychological hack that not many people talk about. And the best thing is that they had nothing to do with the crazy face Mr. Beast-like designs. They're actually pretty boring. If you're an educator and you're not using this hack, you're not only missing out on views, you're actually hurting your brand without even knowing it. And this applies across sit-down videos, podcasts, breakdowns, and every single format. In this video, I'll get you from copying your competition's thumbnails to being unique and actually making people click. And the first thing that you need to understand is this. Most educational creators right now are stuck in the copy what works loop they've heard in a million YouTube educational videos like this one. You search your topic, you see what's performing, and then you maybe remix it. Maybe. But most people take it as it is. They just copy other people's thumbnails. And the problem is that everybody's copying everybody's thumbnails. Nobody has any amount of unique messaging. And just so you know, this isn't just a thumbnail video. You'll get way more out of this, both the principles and the tactics to apply right now. This is more the copy what works method is a positioning problem. And I get it, I was there. But if everybody copies what works, then the only ones who are going to get results are the original guys with the original ideas, because those guys have teams. They have 50 people obsessing over ideas and obsessing over their brand and obsessing over the uniqueness of the character who's actually performing every video. So you have the big guys right here with the original ideas and they get most of the results. So everybody else, which is most people, by the way, they fight for the scraps. And we can see this happening in the market right now. There's copies of copies of copies of copies. And another problem is that we can't out-design these people. Like, let's say Mr. Beast, he has like supposedly the best thumbnails. If we're educational creators, we don't have the time. Then we don't have the people. They have full-time people obsessing over thumbnails each day for 24 hours straight. Then we don't know how to do it if we're doing it ourselves. And then we also don't want to look silly to make a lot of these thumbnails. We have businesses to run and we have to simplify them. But most educational thumbnails, they end up looking like something like this. They're boring, they're same-ish, and they're forgettable. So how should we stand out? What should we do in order for our thumbnails to be better and for people to click on them? The fix is not a better design. It's better messaging on the thumbnail. We said that people don't have unique messaging. Now, that is the answer, unique messaging. The text on the screen that people see, that's the lever we have and we need to pull it. And believe me, I consume way too much content on YouTube and I know that nobody uses the text on the screen, the obvious thing. Nobody uses the messaging well. But better messaging, what does that mean? It means developing something I call a contrarian take, which is an opinion or a statement about your niche that's totally different from what the majority of people from your industry think. It's like that image, I'll put it up here in the edit, where everybody goes, there's two paths and everybody goes right, but the one person, he goes left. And this is what Steve Jobs did at Apple. He said that customers don't actually know what they want until you show them, the product. You make them the product, and then they say, oh, I actually need this. And I'm not telling you to revolutionize the tech space like Steve Jobs did, but at least be a little Steve Jobs in your own space. Like, have a different opinion. Go a certain direction that not everybody's going into. A contrarian take can also be about small things and big things. It doesn't always and only need to be about big, controversial topics. And in the personal branding space on YouTube, my contrarian take is that I don't think that everybody should create content. This is something that I stand by. I really think that not everybody should have a camera running around creating, and that not everybody really has something to say. And you may not agree with this, but the statement did make you feel something. It did make you think about, do I agree or do I not agree? And that's how you remember me. That's what you will associate me when the next time you see my thumbnail. And that's exactly the power of messaging and the power of a contrarian take. Side note, don't try to make these up on the spot just because I said that you need a contrarian take, because you probably know what your contrarian take is, but you just can't remember it because our brain like works in funny ways. When you need something, that's the moment that it won't give it to you. When you become conscious of things, that is the exact moment, like when you can make a mistake because you're conscious of doing it. But when you're not conscious, you sometimes enter the flow state. That's another conversation. But your contrarian take isn't something that you should invent. It's something that you already believe. You just haven't said it out loud yet. And that's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a question to prompt your mind with it, and that's how you're going to discover it. Here it comes. What's one piece of advice in your field that everybody repeats but you think is wrong? overrated or just lazy. So if you were to say it out loud, some people in your industry would be stunned. They would like cease to speak and it would be silent. And then maybe somebody would say something. Now, hold the answer in your head because we're gonna come back to it if you must. If you're gonna forget it, write it down on a piece of paper, type it up in your laptop or in your phone on the notes. But here comes the hack. And at the end, I'm gonna show you how to apply it to get views and eventually customers. Yes, turn views into money because that is the goal of every educational creator. There's a psychological trigger that fires in your brain when you see two conflicting ideas, two totally contradicting things. It creates a sort of a discomfort that something's not right and it needs to be solved. And the way you solve it is by clicking on a video and finding out the answer. For example, 95% of people watching this and in the world generally have been told for decades that 8 hours of sleep per night is the optimal amount to rest. And then you enter YouTube one day and you see a thumbnail saying you don't need 8 hours of sleep. Or you see the 8 hours of sleep at night lie. And your so strongly held belief starts to crumble. Oh, maybe it's not right. It creates a discomfort, or should I say dissonance, in your head and you need to click on the video. A similar visual example that does not have text in it would be burning ice. Or, as I recently found out, an alligator swimming in a frozen lake. Like I saw a video with an alligator that pops out of a frozen lake, has its snoot popping out. And then I had to click on the video because I thought that alligators are in like warm climates and like crocodiles only live in like warm places. And then I found out that I was wrong. But both the burning ice and the frozen alligator question your existing beliefs and maybe even prove them wrong. So in order to find out what the fuck, you have to watch the video as I watched the video of an alligator. The famous podcaster Diary of a CEO, they basically built their whole thumbnail and packaging strategy based off this one psychological hack alone, and some of their best performing videos use it. The funny thing for educational creators is that it doesn't only make people click, but it also opens up an opportunity for you to monetize your audience, to turn viewers into customers. Because when you have a novel opinion, a different perspective, and you actually present valid proof, then you shift people's beliefs. And belief shifting is just one step away from them buying your course, them becoming your clients, them enrolling in your membership. And this isn't just some dark magic. If you actually shift people's beliefs, then shift how they see the world, they're way more prone to give you their time, their money, and their focus, and then become your audience members and maybe later down the line pay for your help to get them somewhere faster. And yeah, I just realized that I haven't even told you the name of the hack. It's called cognitive dissonance. And now you see why the contrarian take works, because it creates the cognitive dissonance effect, which subconsciously gets somebody to click. Quick thing, if you want to dial in those contrarian takes correctly, like have them listed out and maybe put them in a document, I built a quiz on my website that asks you a few questions and compiles your contrarian takes for you. It's free and it takes 2 minutes. Link is in the description of the video, but do it after the video. Don't pause now, because next I'm going to show you exactly how to turn those into legit thumbnails. Let's get down to the concrete steps you're gonna take to make this happen, and there are only 3 of them. Step 1, topic. Decide on which contrarian take you're gonna make your video about. I suggest you make a video about every single contrarian take you have. It's just a bigger way to differentiate yourself from everybody else and to have unique videos. But the more you create, the more you'll find out that there are more and more and more that you will form across time, but there will always be a few foundational ones that are like big ones. Just make videos about those, and then every now and again another one will pop out and then you'll make it on the fly. Step 2, simplicity. Once you have the topic, then you will decide on the visuals that will be on the thumbnail. In most cases, educational thumbnails have, in one way or the other, a headshot, so like your upper body and then up with an edited head image, and then some kind of a text anywhere on the screen where there is something called negative space, but we won't get into that right now. Here's a few examples on the screen while I'm talking. As I said, the thumbnails need to be simple and easy to comprehend, which means having like big text, having space for big text to put on it, and having the text that is bold and that is readable. So like, please don't put any display fonts on your thumbnails. Like editor puts display fonts in here so people can see what they shouldn't do. They have bold serif fonts. Research what a serif font is. Then also have 5 words or fewer. I like to keep them to 3 words because of the size, and the ease of reading, or a visual thing on the screen, or a combination of like text and visual things. Pro tip, try to guide the viewer's eyes towards the text so you can have a design where you hold up the whiteboard, and on the whiteboard, because the whiteboard is sort of a square frame, you can have the text on it, so it basically like the frame focuses people's eyes on the text, or you can point an arrow to the text and that way focus the attention on the text. Or maybe you can take a picture, a side shot of you looking at the text. So just try to focus their eyes on what needs to be focused. Step 3, title and thumbnail combo, or what we call packaging in the YouTube space. It's always a title, a thumbnail, and how they work together in order to make somebody click. So it always goes something like this. The thumbnail stops the scroll, it stops the thumb, and the headline gives the context and earns the click. So the viewer's eyes go from the thumbnail to the headline or the title, the way you want to call it, doesn't matter, and then back to the thumbnail to click. And the best framework to make this happen while using cognitive dissonance that I've found is that the thumbnail gives the contrarian statement. So a thumbnail is a contrarian statement. It has contrarian statement text. And in a headline, you write it teasing the payoff that they're getting at the end, the thing they will learn, the outcome they will be getting. And now you've killed 2 birds with 1 stone. You have a contrarian take that makes you unique and makes you not regurgitate the same advice that everybody gives. And then you have the power to make people click, watch, become a part of your audience, and maybe even potentially buy. But don't forget, with great power comes great responsibility to deliver great content. Hope you learned something new, and if you're creating content on YouTube, you're a business owner, a podcaster, or a company and want to work with me and my team to help you build, scale, and monetize a personal brand, we're giving away free channel audits in the link down below. It's a website. Don't worry, you won't get charged or press hard to buy. We'll only talk if it's a good fit. See you soon.